All right, cool. So, um, there is an agenda in board docs if you guys want to follow along, but I just wanted to do this work session to go through to do some work, actually. So, me and Tracy have met and have kind of went through the agenda, so it should be relatively quick. We'll see. I don't know. Let me not say that. But first, I want to confirm the liaison assignments. We talked about this briefly before the last board meeting. And so I have for the Washington Township Schools Foundation, Christina. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, I took off basically since you were board president. You switched with me, and I switched with you. And then Bill has Community Coalition. Since both of you guys are rolling off in December, the new board members will just slot them into one of those each. So I figure that's good. Tracy's gonna keep PCN. I think historically the board president has been the legislative liaison for ISBA and stuff like that. So I put that down for myself. For policy development, I was on policy, Christina, so I put you down for policy. But I think that for whoever one of the new board members, that'll be a good opportunity for them when that happens. And then safety, Tracy's always been on safety, so I figure she could stay on safety. Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Does Emily know about me? Because I haven't heard anything.
No, I don't think
Okay.
anybody knows about anything because we wanted to make sure everybody was okay before we
Got it.
did it. So that's good. Also, ABS reached out to me yesterday evening, and we have construction manager firm interviews from 2 to 5 on September 16th. And she wanted to invite members of the board up to 2 to participate. Bill, I know you're rolling off, but I thought that you might be a good candidate for this. But I don't know if you have the availability. Anybody else can do it too, but I know your background and MB and all that kind of stuff. So
What was the date?
September 16th from 2 to 5-ish
Why are we interviewing?
That's for the athletic field.
for the athletic field. Yeah. And this is super new. This wasn't on the agenda because you sent it yesterday, but I was like, well, I sent another email. We're gonna meet today. So
2 to 5?
yeah, ish. It's okay if you can't do it. I just thought you would be a good person. Okay. Anybody else interested?
I'll let you.
Tell me the date again.
September 16th, 2 to 5.
Let's do it. Never came.
All right. Well, so yeah, let me know either anybody, and then I'll get back with her. And I'll do it if you like. I'm always the person to do it. Not a big deal. And we don't have to do it. She just wanted to invite us, and I think it's a good opportunity since this is like something the board approved. The movement of the liaison and committee report. So you guys may remember when I joined the board, I asked Bill, who was the board president at the time, if we could have committee liaison reports come back. We did have it back, but it's at the end of the agenda, which I'm grateful that we have it back. But I always was like not understanding why I was at the end of the agenda, because by the time the end of the agenda comes, it's just us and Sean and administration in the room, and no one actually hears. The public doesn't hear. Yes, they can go look at a recording, but they're likely not. So the public doesn't hear. So I wanted to float the idea or find what you guys thought about moving it after maybe superintendent announcements, and then Tracy was going to mention maybe create a specific template. So we're not I don't know, have anything today, but we have kind of a structure too. And I'm not saying we should change the name of it, but it could even go board member comments or something like that, or board member announcements. I don't know. We don't have to change the name of it, but I wanted to see what you guys thought about floating the idea of moving it up in the agenda, at least trying it and see how it goes. And then if it doesn't, or you guys don't like it, we can move it back. But the whole purpose, in my opinion, for us to give comments and what we're involved in and to give reports of things we've been involved in between board meetings was for the public to hear. We kind of know generally what each other do. And so yeah.
I'm kind of partnering it with super announcements. If we're gonna put it anywhere, it makes sense there.
Now it says liaison reporting. Is it specifically me? We're reporting on our liaison assignments or progress in those groups, or is it all inclusive of any and everything we're involved in?
I guess that's what we've generally done. Like it hasn't been, but I think like Tracy was saying, like what me and Tracy talked about it, like most times we talk about we're in the policy committee and we talk about art. And so it's generally been that, but we also say like if we're in conference, go to conferences or professional development. So and I think Tracy had like specific like creating like a template or whatever so that we're not just like saying whatever, but it's more structured.
I think it should be more structured, and I think there should be a time limit on it. We have our community speakers, they have a time limit, so we shouldn't make the agenda longer, so that's what I was thinking. So if it's liaison reports, it should probably just be about the liaisons things. But I don't know that. We don't have to discuss that right now, I don't think, but it was more about interest in placement.
What are your thoughts, Sean?
I mean, I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't have a problem with where they are right now. I do think if we're wanting people to hear more about what the board is engaged in, it would make sense to move it up. But I also like the idea of it being structured relative to liaison specificity, because you don't often hear progress.
Yep.
That's happening in those committees. So that makes sense to me, as long as it's narrow and tight, yeah. At that point, because we do have some board meetings where we get into lengthy info items and action items and all that.
Bill? Deirdre?
Thank you, moving it. Yeah.
Mm.
I think we've done a pretty good job. One of the reasons we took it off the agenda, just comes that was like a soapbox for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I think she wants some time.
Yeah, so that was one of the reasons we just got rid of it, because it just became too much of a. And it was at the end of the meeting, so that anybody else that wanted to leave could leave. So, I'm okay with it, because I think we've been doing a good job of it.
Yeah.
So,
We'll do that then. That was easy. I still like the idea of like, I think Tracy said you might consider creating like a small template or whatever,
Yeah.
so
I'll
she'll
do
do
that.
that. So. The next thing is board meeting development. So if you look at the agenda, I put in, or actually Melissa and Sean worked on a schedule, and then I put in some work sessions. I scheduled in work sessions. I apologize, I did not get everyone's availability for this work session, but I penciled in work sessions throughout the calendar school year for us to have. And so they are, and I wanted you guys to put these in your calendar. And my intention is to have them built in. And if, we figure out 2 weeks before or 3 weeks before we don't need it, then we can cancel it. But they're penciled in. We're not having to figure out everyone's availability and stuff to try to get work done. So I put one in. The next one I have is October 14th at 5 p.m. before the board meeting, January 13th at 5 p.m. before the board meeting, February 24th at 5 p.m. before the board meeting, and then finally Wednesday, April 14th at 5 p.m. before the board meeting. The next one, topic-wise, I wanted to talk about new board members. We have 2 new board members coming on, and we know Christina and Bill are rolling off, and I think this is an opportunity for all of us to talk about what onboarding looks like, especially in the case of Bill, getting some of that institutional knowledge from him about what he thinks we should do for onboarding, and just have a discussion about what onboarding should look like for the new board members and allow everyone on the board to give input. I know that me and Sean are going to work with doing that with the board, but I wanted to get you guys an input. So that's what I wanted the next work session to look like. But if these dates don't work for you guys or times don't work for you guys, let me know so that we can figure something else out.
Just quick question,
Yep.
and I'm sorry, I think you might have like exec sessions in another tab.
Yeah, they're all exec sessions are always also on here. I didn't slot those in there, but
The only reason I'm bringing that up is because usually we have exec sections around collective bargaining in the fall month.
Yeah.
So that was really my only thought.
and I don't think we have to do that this year unless
Yeah,
they
we're in
open up.
2 years.
Okay.
So the only way we would need that is if we have to reopen due to enrollment.
And we don't think we're there. We're going to.
We probably need a few more weeks before we will know that for sure.
Okay. Well, that's right, because 2 years ago, when it was, we, well, we did reopen for enrollment, but it was a quicker one,
It
right?
was quicker one because
2
it
years
was
ago, yeah.
enrollment increase, so it
Right.
just amounted to a
Yeah.
little bit more money, so,
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty simple.
And I can have, I mean, I was just wanting to make sure you guys are okay with this. If you guys are okay with this, I'll have, I can have or Sean can have Melissa send out some holds for those dates. But I tried to make it like before a board meeting. I do realize that 5 p.m. is tough, especially for you, Christina, to get here.
I was only one to worry about. So.
But I just want to make sure everybody was okay with that. All right, cool. What else? Let's see here. Agenda setting meeting signups. So I think there is benefit in and this is in the same document. You'll see that there's a tab that's agenda setting meetings, but I thought I wanted to invite anybody on the board who wanted to come to any of the agenda setting meetings to come. If you guys want to sign up, you can sign up their dates. Tracy said that she would basically I just think there's importance of having continuity. So if we can have two board members, I realize it's not going to always be that way, but if we can have two board members come to the agenda setting meetings, I wanted to make that. So Tracy said that, for whatever, you guys don't sign up for it, she'll make her best effort to come. And again, it's not required, but I want to just throw that out there that I wanted to make sure that people had the opportunity to attend the meeting. So.
Do you want him to just go ahead and fill this?
Yeah, for whatever. So all the dates. So I put in, or we put in all the dates. And also, and then this is up to Sean, but I was gonna offer like for.
Why is my screen?
You're fine. For the next one, for example, 8/21, I'll be out of town, so I'm gonna join via Zoom. So this doesn't have to be where you have to come to the CEC for the meeting. 8/21, I'm gonna join via Zoom. So, and if you want to join and you don't want to come in, that's an option as well. Just let us know that you don't want to come in. But again, not required, but I just want to throw that out there that anybody that wants to participate or wants to see that. I think that when the new board members come on, I think this will be a good opportunity for them to see the agenda setting meeting and like how it works and process.
Yeah, my only thing is I would want to specify whether it is CEC or Zoom.
Yes. Well, and so for this next one, for the 21st, definitely will need to be Zoom for sure, because I won't be here.
I might have to join via Zoom as well, so I hope to. Unless somebody else wants to.
Actually, the 21st looks pretty good for me.
I trust the president. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Bill.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I don't need to go to home.
No, I know. I just.
Dr. Taylor, nothing.
I hear you.
You're getting hateful toward the end of the show.
Yeah.
He's like.
This grouchy old man.
Keep it simple.
And then the next thing, so everybody's good with that. Please sign up if you want to. If you don't, it's all good. Affirmation of the board complaint process, constituent communications. I just want to make sure we understand.
Sorry, where are you now?
Oh, the next one.
At the agenda.
Oh. Okay, got it. All right.
You're fine. And so affirmation of board complaint process. So two things we did. One thing is we added at the beginning of this year or beginning of the school year, Sean had the IT create one email address for the school board, because what I've noticed, sometimes people send individual notes to school board members, or they'll spell somebody's name wrong, mainly Tracy's email address wrong, and they'll not get it. But like the Kim Remschneider email, I didn't get that email at all, and that's because he spelled my email address wrong. Christina ended up forwarding it to me. But so we created school dashboard at msdwt.k12.in.us, and it will send an email. They just have to put school dashboard, and it'll send an email to all of us. So that's one thing, but the second part of it was just that, if you guys do get notes from people, I just want to make sure, like, my understanding of the process, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that, typically the board president responds, to messages, and I just want to make sure that if you guys do get messages, that you forward those along, so. I had this really drawn out process where I was gonna ask everybody to submit a form, because I wanted to keep track of them, but then
Absolutely
but then,
not.
no, that looks, see, Tracy talked me down, so,
Thank you, Tracy, no.
so, but just asking.
I don't wanna hurt your feelings, but we not what you're gonna do.
No, she did say that. I was
Certainly
like,
not.
I was like, oh, there you go. But I just want to make sure everybody was good with that. So, and like I said, it just like it happened the other day with that. Can't remember.
Wait,
Christine-
what? Do we have people watching?
Oh yeah, I don't know if we do or not, but they
Don't
forgot.
send the names.
Yeah. So thanks. Forgot about that. So that's that. Just want to make sure we know about that. And then the officer role build out. This is continuing from last year that Deirdre started, Deirdre and Christina, but Deirdre sent notes on. And so Tracy sent out, we did the vice president role. And she sent out something, so I wanted to have her go through that.
Cause I had to do that. No, I didn't put that.
Well, we don't
But
have to
you
worry
did
about
s-
that this year.
You did something similar though.
We
You
don't
did
worry about
put,
this year.
like
Don't do.
Yeah, it,
leadership succession and board recruitment, which is,
No,
She was election.
I was election czar. So, what we decided, because certain candidates wanted to go to like the schools or whatever, so when they asked for permission to do that, then I would turn it around and offer it to other candidates. And make sure, it was basically, I made sure people were following the rules. So, like, when I ran, my opponent was sending stuff through her daughter. Campaigning.
Yeah.
But she wasn't there, so it was basically keeping that stuff in check, so not the same.
Yeah, I think that kind of came about that year because Wanda decided to take it upon herself to approve certain candidate. Actually, no, it was before you. It was the first time that candidate ran. Wanda sort of took it upon herself to approve some things that
Yeah, that's what
weren't in compliance with whatever, so whatever.
so I think the intention of this, we've talked a lot about trying to get putting some form around the VP role and having, just giving it some more responsibility. And so this is just some ideas that Deirdre had researched and by talking to other members of other boards, and then, just some thoughts. So we can look that over and see what you think, but then also really developing the cultivation of leadership on the board. And especially because we have 2 new members coming in, like how are we really making sure that the onboarding and the opportunities and the growth of the board members is in place for their time on the board. So hopefully some of that is reflected in this.
Now I see why you're taking.
Is agenda planning and meeting preparation listed there twice
yes.
purposely?
I
That's
don't know if it's intentional, but it is listed twice.
okay.
You know, you could have said, this looks really nice.
Because the language is
Where were
different.
you though, Sean? I
The
don't know.
language is different.
Listen,
It's
you
one
went through
versus-
it.
They say
Oh, I'm
the same.
sorry. I'm sorry.
The
That's,
bullet says the same, but
Yeah.
the descriptions
Yeah.
are not. the
yeah,
same.
sorry. I'll
We'll just
change that
merge it
and then I'll
together.
email it to you.
So under the board member onboarding and mentoring, that does not include the president? Or is that in addition to the president?
Oh, actually, it's funny. I was thinking the same thing. I feel like that one piece
That's always.
should maybe be more the president.
I guess in my mind, I was thinking that the VP though could help in pulling the onboarding materials together. More of the work of it, just the getting the information together and getting something for the board chair to do.
So has that process changed? I guess I'm. I'm stuck on, we're focusing on onboarding. Has the onboarding process changed?
No. it
Cause I
hasn't
had
changed.
on the meetings with Bill and Dr. Wood.
But I think
And
there's. some
then I met with
conversation
all
about
of the
reviewing
cabinet
it. Yeah,
members and.
Right.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be able to really give an opinion on that if we're thinking of changing the process, because I would want to know what the process looks like before I could say who could appropriately lead it.
I think that it's an opportunity for us to review the process to see
Right.
if it's appropriate and if it's worthwhile, if it's beneficial to the new members.
I mean, just my impression, my opinion based on a couple rounds of board people coming on, but is that it was much more administration driven
Yep, and
than board driven.
Yeah.
And so to the extent that we say, hey, as a board, we want to be doing a little more and driving a little bit more, then I think that's where
Yeah.
this comes in.
Well, we have on our agenda, Melissa and I, to review that here, end of August. And so I'm happy to share what the draft onboarding schedule and plan will look like. I can share it with the board and we can, obviously, you guys can collaborate over what you want to see changed or anything like that.
And so just, I wouldn't say lead Tracy, but I would say help coordinate.
Okay.
I think it's a great opportunity. Like my thought with like the VP role or whatever is just so it's not just one person doing it. I realize that the president should lead onboarding in conjunction with the superintendent. That's the role. But I really do like the idea of having just like a second set of eyes from the board to look at materials, to give thoughts on, right? And I don't think the even point that we're gonna have a whole work session on onboarding and what we think should be considered, I think is something that is great. So, but I would like to have like someone, so I'm not having to ask the entire board, hey, what do you guys think about this? Right? And just have like Tracy's kind of been my thought partner, even with this coming up with this agenda, right? We met before. So just kind of having a thought partner say, hey, what do you think about this? This is what me and Sean came up with. What do you think about this? So.
Yeah, or you could just call it board member onboarding plan review.
Yep.
Or something like that. But I know that you're kind of signing off on the plan.
Yeah. And this too is just, these are just suggested to me.
Yeah.
So these are not like, that's why we want
I
to
should
talk
put
through it.
draft.
I think I think
I think also kind of same cat, the board communication and engagement. To me, that's similar in that I feel like that is. They're sort of backup to the president
Yes,
for that, not like
Yeah.
the point for.
yes. And that's a great point. Yes, to back up.
Now, that said, I do think one thing that there's a couple things that stand out. There's things that I do think could kind of be somebody that is not the president really leading them. Well, the first one, the fiscal liaison and budget oversight.
Yeah, I really like that.
I like that one, although also I think that could fit well with secretary.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
If we want to assign someone to that, I think we might consider that being the secretary, just because, I mean, they're the ones who sign off on.
No, 100%. And I was thinking too, like, I don't want like the whole point of this is to like not to give the vice president more responsibility than,
Right.
No.
than every officer. So
And then the other thing I wanted to pull out is so yeah, I mean, I think we agree, the agenda planning and meeting prep, the board member onboarding and mentoring, and the board communication engagement, those are still more led by the president, but the VP
Right.
is kind of, their backup and support in that. Again, fiscal liaison, I personally think fits better with the secretary. The leadership succession and board recruitment, I do think there's a lot of value in pulling that out, and I do think that really needs a point person.
Yep.
And I think that is something that the vice
That's good.
president could take the reins on. Because I know I sort of, I guess I could say, unofficially took on a role of sort of trying to figure out what was going on with board recruitment and,
Yeah.
and all that, but it was kind of like, I was just doing it informally and it was, having like a point person.
Yeah.
Kind of like, this is my thing, so if you're another board member who's talking to somebody or has heard something, this is the person to funnel it to. I think that's a perfect thing for the VP, I think, to really be the person on. So, yeah, those are my thoughts.
Great.
Yeah, I only had the one thing about the onboarding and mentoring piece. And I think we kind of solved that, so. Rest of it's fine.
The only other thing that sometimes comes up, not the only other, but that sometimes comes up that I wonder if that goes under board secretary for fiscal oversight or not, is sometimes we do get asked for like supporting certain organizations financially,
Sponsorships.
favorable
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah, that's a good
Sponsorship
point.
does come up every now and then, like, hey, board, per past practice, we've donated, $2,500 in sponsorship to whatever. Do we want to do that again this year? If so, same amount, less, more?
Like COD and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that would just be, whoever it is, secretary or the vice president would just be the contact point, then bring it to the board.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really do like that as the, like the, about the secretary, like kind of doing the fiscal
Mhm.
liaison, board budget stuff.
That's great.
We get directed doing.
All right, so we can, I think me and Tracy can come back and like break this down between secretary and vice president, flesh it out a little more and like send it out via email, and then we can talk about it at the next work session if everybody's good with that.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. And then the next thing, and I know we probably won't get far with this, but so realized 2 people are rolling off in December. And so I didn't think it made sense to even talk about board goals at all because I feel like that needs to happen in like a retreat format with new board members. There's no point to like, but I did want to talk about shared commitments. So there's 2 links in there. One I think is Noblesville Schools. Other one is to Carmel Clay Schools or shared commitments, governance norms. And I wanted to get you guys' thoughts about, and maybe this is something that waits for the new board too, but getting you guys' just thoughts about creating a document like this and coming up with some norms / commitments that the board, that we could share with the public. Obviously, we wouldn't finalize this today, but just getting everyone's thoughts on it. I know we talked about board goals / shared commitments last year. We came up with a little bit of something, but I just want to try to get some forward momentum on it, and try to, come up with something.
This, I mean, didn't get to look at it ahead of time. This one from Carmel is really nice. What I like about it too is it I think it's educational for the public. And I think it's educational for, honestly, like future candidates and stuff too.
Correct.
That's always a big thing about like, what does the board really do?
Correct.
And there's always that thing out there, the people who call you and want you to change like the late bus policy and what a school kind of thing and how to explain, what your role is in terms of, yes, we set policy, but not, at that level. So just, I mean, at the very front when it says, here's kind of what we do, I think that's great. But the guiding principles, again, kind of same thing, like, look, as a board, what are we looking at, right? And I think that helps direct people to like, oh, okay, this is what they're focusing on. They're not focused on, my complaint about what this teacher did on, this day, so, and the description of the role, again, I think that helps educate the public on kind of that balance between, what we do versus, micromanaging. So yeah, just scanning through this, I really like it as as sort of for the public. I mean, as well as obviously for us as our guiding document, but that's what's striking me about it is it's sort of like a really nice, like, School Board 101 for the public.
And I will say, I think Carmel's is a little too detailed. Like, because I don't want to, because like so Carmel's is like 10 pages versus Noblesville's is like 3, and it's a little more general. I kind of like Noblesville's better. Carmel's is nice, but it goes like super detailed, like commit, and I don't think that we like, I don't think I want to share all that information with the public. Like, not that it's secretive, but like some of these things change. Like for example, on the Carmel one, it's like how we do new board member onboarding. I don't think the public needs to be necessarily privy to that. I mean, it's not bad, but I just, the board retreats, like, so, and it even references policy and stuff like that. And I think the Noblesville one's a little more like layman's terms for the public. But I just want to know, thanks, Christina, for your thoughts. Just want to know what y'all thought about us coming up with something similar.
Yeah, I'm okay. I was looking, I thought we had started something like that.
We did. I think Sean actually kind of had, when we, yeah.
But I can't find.
Trying to find it. Just kind of like a commitments document.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, I agree. I think we have, that was the start of it, and getting to this is the next step of sort of where that's going.
And so what's the purpose of the document?
Well, I think with new board members coming on board, if we are able to try to solidify that before they come on board, then that helps guide us as an onboarding. And then so like them kind of agreeing, hey, this is what the board has agreed. This is how the board operates, right? Like this is how we operate. Here's our commitments. This is what we've come up with. That's why I said the board goals, and I think the shared commitment / governance norms are a little different.
Yeah, so this is the primary audience would be new board members, but you could also be used for public.
Yeah, we will post it to the public. Right.
So it's
Correct.
really, you'll directly send new board members to this,
And
current board members.
yeah.
Remind you.
Yeah. And they we would like kind of agree to these. We would kind of like agree to these commitments.
Okay. Maybe even before you started doing something. We did this because it was around the time of,
It was when Sean came on. It was kind of.
when not as superintendent.
We had board and suit norms that I'm looking at right now, just for how we were kind of gonna work together
Yeah, that's that one.
for our working norms. And then there was a board goals doc that we started, that I'll share with you too.
I'm talking
But I
further
don't,
back.
that's all that I got. Yeah.
Because we're having issues with,
BS before Sean.
yeah, before. Yeah, we were having issues with board members doing things outside of what they should be doing. And I know when I first came on, I'm not saying do it that way. I was just saying if I had.
No, I would, yeah, because
Share to help you, to add to whatever you decide to do. This is not to stop you from.
no, but that's why I think that you have a lot of input in it, like, and I just like want us to come up with like some commitments that we can all say, hey, yeah, we would do this, right? Like, which we all, I mean, for the most part, everybody
It would be here.
conducts ourselves.
Got a binder or something.
Yeah, I know she said that. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm.
Yeah,
sorry.
Bill, well, you had sent out, Bill, when we kind of had the goals conversation, I just found it. You sent out a draft document that goes back that was from 2013.
Okay, well,
I think that's the one you're talking about.
I did.
Uh,
At that time.
well, I mean, it's very small. There's only like 3 objectives on it. It's 1 page.
Is it a objectives for goals or is it board or board?
No, this was goals.
Goals.
And actually, I think this was just, I mean, there's only 1 page in what you sent, and it was for one goal, and then there are like 3 objectives and actions. I can send it back out. I remembered something you were talking about, and you had sent that as like, hey, here's something we were working on way back
Yeah.
when, but it looks like it's kind of just a snippet or a
Yeah.
example.
That doesn't have does that have anything to do with people being at exec sessions versus in person versus online or?
No,
'Cause
no.
we went through that too, and Melissa might know too.
Mhm.
But again, don't stop that from.
I hear John Fensel talking about it.
And I remember the discussion over absences when people.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
how many absences for board meetings, all that stuff, I
We
thought
did
we
that.
pulled the document
We
together,
did.
that would feed into either one of those documents.
Just can't, but you're right, we did. I feel like,
Let me do some digging, I'll find out. I've got, Dr. Woodson's old files, so.
cause John drafted it.
Yeah, I remember us talking about
Yeah.
it.
And it's-
Okay.
That was definitely before I was.
Yeah, sorry about this.
I feel like Don was.
He might have been. All right,
Yeah, but do you guys see value in like a?
yeah,
Okay.
I'm fine, I'm just trying to.
No, I think what we gotta do though, and I know we're not gonna do it today, but we gotta figure out what those commitments, like what our commitments are, like what are they? So, I'm not sure the best way to do this, but like, I don't know, like redline the documents we already see or add stuff to it, or like, I'm open to suggestions on, I just don't want this to fall through the cracks.
Well, I think you can start with the two documents that you sent out because, like Christina was giving us her input on the Carmel one.
Yeah.
And people can do the same, like circle what you really like or, whatever. I think that gives us
Okay.
a starting point to,
All right,
Some
so,
stuff.
so then what I'll commit to is I'll create a working draft of what a Washington Township School Board commitments document looks like. I'll circulate it through Google Drive or Google Docs.
Captured some notes from last year's conversation on board goals, and we had outlined like 4 or 5 areas for commitments, so
Yeah.
dust that off too.
Yeah.
And then I think the norms you sent
Yeah.
out again is a good starting point
Yeah.
too, because it's got a lot of similar structure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
I think it's helpful too for obviously shaping onboarding of new people, but even in advance, likely the people who are really looking at these documents when they're online are people who are curious about at some point maybe running for a board.
Mhm.
correct.
I don't
Correct.
probably see them getting a whole lot of action outside of that, but
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think it's also good for you all when you're engaged with a stakeholder to be like, oh, here's a document,
Yeah,
for your review that kind of explains more what our role is.
yeah, like exactly. That's what I
Yeah.
was thinking. I think
Yeah.
it would be helpful to point people to the people
Yeah.
who come to us wanting us to fix
Yes.
their individual problem, with their school and their kid, to kind of help educate them on our role versus building leadership's role.
So as far as process goes, then Stephen, are you thinking, so starting the doc and sharing the doc, are you thinking of trying to publish by the next work session, maybe like?
Just before,
Before then?
no, I'm not on any specific timeline. I would like us to complete it before the end of the year, before
Yeah.
Bill and
I
Christina
think that
roll
makes
off.
sense.
And before we start onboarding for the rest of them, I think we can talk about it in our next meeting,
Yeah,
and
maybe
I'm
I'll-
open to like figuring out when. I think just off the top of my dome right now, like before the end of before the beginning of December, because
Yeah.
then we will start planning. We will be, I know, in thick of planning for the new board members, but I don't have a certain date on it. I just wanted to make sure we get
We
it
can keep it
done.
a recurring thing on
Yeah.
our
Agenda set,
setting
yeah.
meetings and just talk through that. What's our progress? Where do we need to go next? How can we help each other?
But I'll definitely start off by based on what you sent, and then like based on these two documents coming up with like, and again, I don't want to, Carmel's is too long. Like nobody needs a 10-page document, and I think theirs is too detailed, but I really do like in something that we could all like literally sign and agree to. So. And then I think that's really it. Let me just
School visits?
Oh, school visits. I know everybody's busy, and I just wanted to, I know Dr. Taylor also puts them in the bottom of his weekly reminders, but we really encourage everybody to at least try to do one school visit. I know I can't make anybody do anything, but just one school visit.
I'm clearly overthinking that.
I think it's in the,
It's at the bottom.
it's at the bottom under reminders.
And
Now, so this is actually the schedule, like, so you can't sign up in here,
that's what-
but you can send Melissa an email and she'll sign you guys up.
oh, good.
And so,
It didn't have the dates, right?
Yeah.
you know, it does have the
The
date.
dates, we don't know the times.
They're also, so they
Times are
started
always the same. They always start at
8:30.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
each school, so team A,
So each team goes to two schools. They
8:30.
8:30 is the first school, and then they go to the next one right after. But even to that point, you don't have to go to both schools. If you just want to come to one, that's
Okay,
fine
so
too.
New North and Village, same team, starts at 8:30.
Yeah.
Great.
And they have a really cool rubric that they use to kind of evaluate and walk through. And so just hoping that, we can get some board presence at the school visits. They're they're not much better, but I like the format better than the previous ones.
Okay, so there are 3 teams on here though, but it's only 2 schools. So,
Two
Per
schools
team.
per team, so
Per
we
team.
get the 6 schools on one walk day.
I'm sorry, I get it now. I was not reading it correctly. Thank you. So based
you
on the
exhausted.
schools, I could say, team A on this date.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And the teams are down below there, who's on team
Yeah.
A and
Yeah.
team B, team C.
And then if you do go to both schools and it starts at 8:30, generally,
You're down by like 10:30 at the latest 11.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
So,
I will do that for sure.
and then that wraps up the work session, guys. Thank you guys for coming.
E2.
Yeah, that's a good time.
Very nice.
I'm just
So
there.
send so she doesn't have a sign up sheet. We just need to send her what we think. And she'll.
And then she'll send you an invite for what?
Decide if there's 3 of us asking for the same time, she'll say there's 3 of you guys.
Yeah.
You know, fight it out.
Yeah.
All right, well, we called the meeting. We got 8 minutes before the regular meeting. Yay. All right. Turn this off.
Yeah, during the meeting.
Yep, the meeting is adjourned. Do I have to call for an adjournment? You gonna do that too?
I'm just saying, turn them on.